Hello, I'm Doug and this is the Taste and Sensibility channel. And this is another episode of 10 Tastes for Whiskey Drinkers. And today we're looking at old rums, or rather tasting old rums. So rum is one of those things that's a little misunderstood, sort of like bourbon. A lot of people think it's really sweet, and ideally all the sugar is being converted to alcohol by those yeast. So I don't find a lot of them very sweet. And it is true that some rums have some sugar or sugarcane juice or molasses thrown into the barrel at time of casking. But I think most of these are free from that sort of abuse. They're not relying on cheap tricks to taste good. They're relying on age. So rums basically come in two kinds. You can make it out of molasses, which is a byproduct of sugar manufacturing, sugar refining, and it is dark by nature because the material is dark. And then you can also make it out of sugarcane juice, and that's called Rhum Barbancourt in the French, which is the language of many Caribbean nations where rum is made. And that ends up with a less complex, less rich, a little bit sharper flavor. But after it ages, it picks up different kinds of things in the barrel. It responds differently to the barrel aging. So a nice old one is also complex and repays your careful tasting. So I guess I'm going to taste 3 of these and 4 of these and a couple of oddballs, and hope I'm still sitting upright in this chair at the end. So if you like the reviews that you've been seeing here on this channel, please give this video a thumbs up. Please leave a comment down below, leave a question, subscribe to the channel, and click that bell to get notified when the new videos come out on Mondays. So I think I will start off with this Mote XO, which does not have an age statement, but is pretty old. It tastes old. This is 43% and a product of Barbados. Oh yeah, that's something that needs to be said, is that all these different countries have different rules, regulations, and laws about how you can make rum, what you can do to it, how you have to label it. So it is a real gamish, and it helps to know some of those things and understand them all before you go out buying your own things. I gave up buying rums without a referral. So lots of things that I have here, the recommendations came from Ralfy on his whiskey channel. And I guess I went through a few rum reviewers and did some of their stuff. Liquor Hound has some good rum reviews. And there's other places, Rum Fun. I don't remember all the names. So almost all these I got from referrals from somebody else, and very few of the ones I just got on my own turned out really well. So it is hard to do because of the mishmash of laws and regulations and practices. So Mote XO. Oh wow, smells old. Smells like it might be sweet or brown sugar-like or molasses-like. Wow. Brown sugar, cinnamon, caramel are all things exploding in my mouth right now. It's very rounded off. Well aged, it's had a lot of oak interaction. There's a hint of vanilla. And the barrel has treated this very well, so this is not a sweet drink. It is complex, and there's definitely an interesting spirit interacting with a good cask. This is what we're looking for in whiskey usually. Rich, deep, complex. I can't tell. It's a good balance between spirit and cask. Can't tell which one's winning. They're about even in my estimation. So it is not like one of the sharp young rums that they put a little color in to make it look like they aged it a year or two. Oh, deep, rich, complex, and tasty. Most whiskey drinkers will like that, I would think. So the same way a lot of people think bourbon is too sweet, a lot of people think rum is too sweet, and that is definitely not the case. Now the next one. Next one is El Dorado, which is from Guyana. I have a 15 and a 21. And a lot of people think these are the nicest, most wonderful sipping rums in the world. And they taste about the same to me, but I've got about the same level in each one, so I'm just going to go ahead and pour the 21. It's my taster here. Try to give you an idea of what it tastes like. And I'm not nearly the taster as those rum aficionados or Ralfy. They can talk about lots of notes and things a lot longer than I can. So El Dorado 21 is close to $100 a bottle. And I get pretty much the same flavors from the 15. This is a little older, a little more oaky, a little more rounded off. This is really close. And this is like $50. Sometimes $45. Sometimes less. So I love this guy. So I'm going to just drive the 21. And I've seen online that people find a little bit of sugar added to this when they're doing the test that shows sugar. But it's just part of their process and their tradition in Guyana. And it's a very small amount at the time of casking. So I don't hold that against them. I don't think it's a trick to make it sweeter. I think it's their normal practice to make it to go to a certain flavor profile. And it is a very small amount. Old. Yes. Just old library books, leather, wood. Can't quite identify. Maybe tobacco smoke from a cigar is all over it too. It's just one of those old things, old places that's full of things you don't eat, but everything's old. Wow. Nice, rounded, brown sugar notes, molasses notes, without the sweetness of those things. It's like all the dark, deep, rich things around them, but not especially sweet. I'm looking for vanilla and oak clues. I can't say the vanilla stands out. There's nothing especially oaky about it. It's just old. It's wonderful. I could sip this all day. It just tastes great. It's very rich and complex. It tastes as dark as it looks. So that's a recommend, and this is probably even a higher recommend coming from me because it's half the price. So now I'm going to move on to Ron Abuelo 12. This is from Panama, and I'm seeing 40% ABV. They have a 7-year-old. This is about $40. I have a 7-year-old that's under 30 around here, and yeah, it's about the same to me. My palate says buy the 7, or my palate and my wallet get together and say we've decided you should buy the 7. So I don't get that much more out of the 12, if anything, to enjoy more for the money. But we're reviewing the 12 because my 7 has this much in it. Wow, that's nice. Rich, caramely, molassesy. It's got the brown sugar things. I'm not getting the old library or old wood notes, leather. None of that old stuff is in here. But it's a nice, rich, rounded, complex molasses type flavor. And it's all the dark, rich flavors and aromas associated with molasses. It's not necessarily the sweet of molasses. So it's not a syrupy thing. It's dark and rich like coffee without sugar in it. It's got dark flavors. There's not a lot of bitter in it either. So don't think of some bitter coffee that's been over roasted or too dark. This is nice. Abuelo 12. Get it. Yeah. Next one we're at is Panama Pacific. This is a 9-year-old, 47.3% ABV, and a product of Panama. Yeah, of course. There's also a 23-year-old that I have. Whoop, let's throw the cork around. So 23-year-old I have that I don't find much better. I don't remember the prices. This is striking me as something like 27 bucks for the 9. Which is a pretty good price for a sipping rum. It's not all that dark, so I don't think they've added color to it. So I think that's natural. And if you're going to get into rum, just start making a chart right away of all the different rules and countries and laws and regulations that they have, because you're going to need that for too long. So Panama Pacific, 9-year-old, but 47%. So that's going to carry some more flavor against all these 40% things. Ooh, it's more upfront with the flavors. The extra 7% is contributing more flavor. It's not sweet on the nose, it's not sweet on the palate. It's a pretty clear rum flavor. There's an alcohol punch, but the flavors around it are deeper and more complex than just your average mixing rum for sure. So maybe the 23-year-old is better, older and more complex, but this is plenty for me to sip on. I find lots of complexity and enjoyment in here. Yeah, it's got some age on it. It's been rounded off. There's nothing sharp or poking out. And the higher ABV gives it much more of that craft feel. It's bringing flavors right to you. You don't have to go looking for them. So you can tell it's been in wood for a while. So that's what I like about these things. They give you a complex set of flavors of the kind that a whiskey drinker, a bourbon drinker, a scotch drinker is going to find real interesting and a good change of pace. And it's a good exercise for your taste buds and palate to shift over and try different flavors once in a while. So here's another Ralfy recommendation. Santa Teresa. 1796 is the name of this particular expression, and this is Solera rum. So it's aged in the Solera system, and I'm seeing 40% ABV. It's a product of Venezuela. So this might be one of the few things making money in Venezuela, and they keep getting it out, and we keep buying it, and they get a little bit of cash once in a while. This guy that runs this place, he wants to keep it going. So let's see what we can do for him. I don't see an age statement. He's got a couple other expressions, but I don't usually see them in my stores. Usually it comes in a nice tube, it's a nice bottle, nice label. I have enjoyed this tremendously, and this might be my second bottle that I've gone through. As a whiskey drinker, good color. Might be genuine, it might be phony. Even if they had laws and regulations in Venezuela, who would know that you're breaking them? But a good craft distiller that wants to keep their customers and wants to make their customers happy, they're going to do the right thing the way they've always done it. Don't get a whole lot on the nose. Rich, brown sugar and molasses. Oh, yeah, that's hitting me pretty well. It seems like it's got most of the flavor of this thing for out of a 40% ABV juice. It's tasty. It's maybe a tad less complex than the XO or the Mount Gay or the El Dorados. But it is really nice. It's pleasant, old. I'm thinking it's getting to the edge of leather and wood and tobacco. Whatever they do to mature it, it really has a hold on it. That is really nice. Yeah, that's good. And not especially sweet. Okay, now, I think most of the things that we've been going through are all made from molasses. They're all the Demerara style of rum making. This is the oddball, except for the Cachaças from Brazil. But this is Rhum Barbancourt, 15-year-old from Haiti, and this is made from the much less colored sugarcane juice. They just press the juice out of sugarcane. It's thin. It's almost colorless. That is their starting material, so it doesn't have the richness from the molasses parts or the byproducts or the dark things that didn't get turned into sugar. Some of that is just burnt sugar from cooking and cooking and cooking. But this was surprisingly good and interesting to me. And Ralfy recommended. So I'm not getting it on the nose, and I think it's a 40%. Oh, it's a 43%. Distilled and bottled, Port-au-Prince, sugarcane rum aged in oak. And 15 years old. And they have lots of different age segments. You can buy a 5, an 8, several numbers. 15 might be the highest I've seen. So I probably would have bought a higher number if they'd had it in my store. Yeah, the nose is confusing to me and not like these things have been. If I get something on the nose on these things, it's usually molasses and brown sugar. I'm getting something, but I don't know what it is. Wow. It's more oaky. It is nice set of flavors. There's a sweetness to it. There's a complexity to it, and it's oak based. There's not a sharpness that you often get in young rums or cachaças. There's a hint of some vegetal stuff, but it is low level. It's in the background. Really good and really interesting. And this bottle's only got 3 inches left. So I have enjoyed this, and I've enjoyed the difference between this and the Demerara type rums. So once I saw Ralfy's review on this thing, I ran out and got it, and bottle's gone down steadily since. So I wouldn't say it's the most complex thing, but the complexity that's there is due to oak. And that is a thing that whiskey drinkers might want to study. And it's striking me as a new oak. Yeah, it's oaky. It's interacting with that spirit. That is good. So the Rhum Barbancourt 15 is a strong recommend. And now I got a couple of oddballs to go through. I just want to say I don't think I'm going to taste the Brazilian Cachaça. This is made from sugarcane juice. This one, it actually is colored. It's picked up a little yellow tint. And I like this, and it's about halfway down, even though it's kind of sharp and young and has a strong taste. It's probably meant to be a mixer more. And you can see I have not gone down very far in this one because the ABV carries more of that sharpness and punch you right in the mouth. And I need to learn some cocktails with cachaça, or I could just do rum things. But I came across this Mexican rum, which is much like cachaça really. And this one has a smoky character. I don't know what they do to it. This is from Oaxaca. So the same place that makes all that smoky mezcal, which I like so much. And they call it rum with quotation marks around it because it's really more cachaça. But they say it's 50% estate-grown cane juice in a copper pot still, and 50% DO produced molasses-modified French-style column. And Mexico tends to be pretty good about labeling and lot numbers and verifying and authenticating everything. So this is one of the oddballs that I think I'm going to go ahead and taste separately. Because I find the cachaça in these bottles really sharp and unpleasant in a way. Maybe two ways. This one was interesting, and I've been sipping it more. And I remember it being due to the smoky nature. Oh yeah, I get a cachaça nose right away, but there's also a smoky aspect to it, or a more complex aspect to the cachaça. Yeah, it's softened up a lot compared to these two things. Both of these strike you as really sharp. And this one at 40%, and you go sharp, 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 new rum. And then at 54% here, you go, it's really sharp. So I don't know how much aging they do or resting it in glass or stainless steel. I don't know that much about rum. I don't know that much about cachaça. But a guy at a local liquor store recommended this one. And I'll put all these descriptions and things down in the description below. This one really grabbed me, and I've been sipping on this much more than the other cachaças. And I think it really is in the category of cachaça from the way they make it and what they make it from. So for not having any color and not having any age and not having any indication that it's aged in oak, it's kind of interesting. And now I don't have any real estate here to move around and look at other things. I want to look at a couple of real oddballs. And these oddballs completely rely on wood. So this is Balcones Distilling in Waco, Texas. Texas Rum, special release. 68.5% alcohol by volume. And look at the color. So I bought this on my last trip to Austin, Texas, for the Whiskey Tribe's Bastards Ball. and came across this in a store and realized this is not the stuff that the distillery is selling nowadays or putting out nowadays. So I grabbed it just because I thought it was out of date and rare and going away. Not many bottles out. And what I got on the nose was oak, 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 oak. It's so woody, I can't tell what the spirit is made from. I can't tell if it's malt, rye, corn whiskey, malted barley. It's pretty much oaky on the nose. That's with 68%. Am I reading that right? 68.5% ABV. And I don't get alcohol in the nose, I get oak. That is an oddball. That's a unicorn right there. And on the palate, wow, I got so many glasses back here I can't move without hitting one. On the palate I get oak and vanilla and oak and oak. And I saw bottles in the distillery that were Texas rum, but the liquid was colorless. So I don't think they did much to it in the way of aging in oak, or they just poured it through a barrel maybe. So they have a rum, but it's not like this one. And that's pretty much what's happened with this one. Now this one is also a story about the wood, but it's a different kind of story. This is Avuá Cachaça from Brazil, 40% ABV. But after they make the cachaça from the sugarcane juice, they age it in a wood called Amburana. Ralfy did a review of this and made me run out and buy this bottle. And my store has a very complete selection of different woods that they age their cachaça in. And this Amburana wood is so different from any kind of oak or anything that we're used to. But it's nice, it's interesting, it's sweet, it's fruity. It is different than anything we're used to. So this is this kind of cachaça that can be sharp and a little young tasting, but a year or two in this Amburana wood, and it picks up a whole different character. On the nose, oh wow, it's like a fruitiness. It's some kind of melon plus vanilla. There's a fruitiness that's just bright and happy and smiling, and no one could have a frown in the presence of this kind of smell. This is a tropical wood from the rainforest, and they make barrels and age this stuff in those barrels, and it picks up this flavor and aroma. I could smell this for an hour. This is a happy smell. It's bright, it's fruity, it's a fruit I don't know. I want to find the fruit and eat it. Wow, it's the same thing on the taste, it didn't change. It's not rum inside the whiskey boundaries, but this gives you a whole new set of flavors to think about and practice on. So that's all for now. Whoa. Let's just dump them all into one. Yep. We sure are. Less than 2 years aging in the barrel, it is very wood driven, barrel driven, cask driven. Because I know what the spirit tastes like. And you don't want the plain spirit by itself very often. So this Amburana wood is a revelation. So look for this in your area if you have some fairly complete liquor stores. What a treat. It's not very whiskey-like, but it's a treat for the taste buds and the nose. So again, if you like what you're seeing here, please give this video a thumbs up. Please leave a comment down below or leave a question. And subscribe to the channel and click on that bell to get notified when the new videos come out. And I hope you've enjoyed this excursion outside the whiskey boundaries, but this gives you a whole new set of flavors to think about and practice on. So that's all for now.
I love whiskey drinking women. They understand the things I do. They never beg me to stop drinking, 'cause they like drinking whiskey too. Sophisticated